Hey, how's it going? It's good to see you. I haven't done a live stream in quite a while, but I thought I'd bring it back this Friday evening for some fun. If you saw the title, you might think this is going to be a bunch of hate. It's not. I'm going to defend Peter McKinnon. I'm going to be more of an advocate for him than he is for himself. We're going to get into all that. But of course, this is live. So if you want to hop in the chat, you can always do that. Leave a comment. I always do some technical troubleshooting, testing before to make sure it looks good and sounds good. But if it looks awful, if it sounds awful, please, as always, let me know. But I think I just kind of want to dive into it because this is fascinating to me as a video professional photographer. Peter McKinnon is probably the biggest photographer YouTube that I can think of. There might be one bigger now, but certainly nearly 6 million subscribers. That's quite impressive. Obviously blew up a few years ago. And he's been making content on and off over the last couple of years. I think if you're in the creation space, if you're a photographer, if you're a videographer, you certainly know the name Peter McKinnon because he's huge, or was on YouTube a while back. If you look at some of the oldest videos that are popular, millions of views, millions. Quite impressive. 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago. Big name in the space. Lots of very, very popular videos. And that's great as a content creator. Tons of revenue. YouTube AdSense, that's all great and that's good. And I've always liked Peter's style. I think he's got kind of a cool vibe, both as a person and in his photography. I'm more of a video person myself, so I've always resonated with the videos and the maybe the person behind the camera, because that's one of the secrets of Peter McKinnon videos is that whoever's shooting them and editing them does a phenomenal job. Sometimes it's Pete, but other times it's clearly someone else, and I don't track down who did what on every single video. And I can't say I've watched a Peter McKinnon video in quite a while, but certainly good inspiration, motivation to show what's possible in the photographer side of YouTube. I relate more with video. It seems like Pete's more of a photo guy himself, but very, very popular videos. 10 million views, nothing to sneeze at. Very, very impressive. 6 million subscribers, or just basically about, I'm rounding up. But then lately, the Peter McKinnon videos are more like 100,000 views, and still impressive. Don't get me wrong. I think anyone would love to have these view counts. But if you know anything about YouTube monetization, 100,000 versus a million is a big gap in revenue. Very difficult to make a business YouTube content creating just off of 100,000 views per video, because it's not $100,000. You see a million views, you might think $1 million, but it doesn't work quite like that. 100,000 views is not $100,000. You can certainly make a living on 100,000 views, but it'd be very hard to achieve the level that Peter McKinnon does with that view count. It's just the math, the revenue. It's hard to justify creating videos that cost more than they make. And I don't know how his business works and if he's got clients or sponsorships or how it all financially works out. But just views to views, you've got the heyday of YouTube 5, 6, 7 years ago, millions of views versus what is, even recently, I don't think a single video has gotten over 1 million views. Let's see, in quite a while. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 90,000, 300,000, 400,000, creeping up there, close to 500,000. Quite some time. Let's see, going back still even a year ago. And again, this isn't hate. This isn't shade. This isn't exclusive to Peter McKinnon. This is across the board. I just want to check and make sure everything sounds good. 100,000 a video. If you made 3 a day is one thing. If you made 2 or 3 a month, however, yeah, it's tough to justify. Again, if it sounds awful, please let me know, but I'm fingers crossed, live stream, always technical difficulties. But anyway, Peter McKinnon is not the only one this is affected. This is across the board for YouTube. So to cut right to the chase, to give a little bit of spoilers of what broke first, Peter McKinnon or YouTube, it's YouTube. Shorts and the whole YouTube sphere, the whole YouTube ecosystem, it's not what it once was. Now, that's not to say it's impossible to get millions of views. Obviously, there are people who are doing it, but maybe it's not as easy as it once was because of shorts, because of other platforms like TikTok, like Instagram Reels. You've got way more streaming services nowadays. Just people's attention is divided. It's harder to get those mass amounts of views. And it's not like the revenue or AdSense or that side of the equation has, compensated. The ad rates haven't gone up in as to compensate for the drop off in views. Now, I was going through Peter McKinnon's channel. Obviously, he's got the kind of like the trap of not making videos. We might watch that one. Should you work for free or just work for free? I don't know what that's about. The inner struggle. But even the Red Bull one that he did recently, 300,000 views. Making photos. Will I quit YouTube? You talk about one thing, algorithm frustrations and the struggle of getting views and making money. It's another thing as a content creator to keep going and avoid the burnout. Everyone does it, right? Ups and downs, highs and lows. But I scrolled down here and I didn't click on this, but a year ago, Pete's got a video called YouTube Isn't the Problem, It's You. And I want to click and see what this is all about.
How do you play this game? The game that is YouTube. Am I the problem? Is YouTube the problem? And it turns out that, hi, I'm the problem, it's me. My friend Renee is coming by in about 30 minutes. And he blew my mind in like 30 seconds with all sorts of questions I had about being a creator and how to leverage YouTube to work for me. I gotta finish this first, then we'll get started. All right, Renee.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm curious. So in hindsight, this came out a year ago. We've already got the track record of Peter McKinnon's videos since this video came out. If there was something he could have changed, he didn't, or we're going to find out. I'm not sure. I'm very curious what we're going to learn from this.
Thank you for being on the channel.
I think the problem is YouTube, but maybe not. Maybe not.
To help ease the mind of YouTubers across the globe.
That is my mission in life.
Yes. I saw Renee last week when we were speaking at Vid Summit. He approached me. We were in a crosswalk on the street and started having an in-depth conversation about thumbnails, titles, and A/B testing.
Yes.
He dropped so much knowledge in me between the walk sign and the do not walk sign.
And then you said, stop, wait, we got to record this.
So thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do?
I was a tech journalist, covered Apple for many, many years. Then I went full-time as a creator for 2 years. YouTube was looking for a new creator liaison. It was a really, really good match.
What's the meat and the potatoes of this? Does the algorithm punish you? Thumbnail A/B testing,
more empathetic with creators. And
audience
then the other half,
engagement, different audiences, the algorithm.
His job is to follow the audience.
If it pleases the audience, it generally is going to really please the algorithm, and we want to just get better and better at doing that. A lot of people will make a short and then expect people to just go to their long form videos.
Right.
But people watching shorts, they're enjoying watching shorts. It's sort of like you're at my food truck. I love your food truck. I got a restaurant back there. What's going to get you to the restaurant? And you've got to make like a compelling value proposition. You can't want them to go to your long form. They have to want to. And you do that by like, here's the unboxing. If you want to see my full review, go over here. Or I can't believe this is what's happened when I got the truck. If you want to see like how I got out of this, and then they're more inclined to go, okay, I'm going to press that button.
What I took away from that too is the algorithm now has a name, Todd.
Todd.
All right, so you got new creators. They're trying to figure this whole landscape out. They have lots to offer, but they don't know which path to take. If it be it that.
Yeah, because I think if you're new to the game and you see that, oh, Peter McKinnon used to get millions of views, he doesn't anymore. Is it still possible for me? And I think there's a lot of doubt and hesitation for anyone, whether you're a photographer, videographer, content creator, filmmaker, cinematographer, I don't care, whatever it is. If you want to make content, put it on YouTube, you're kind of wondering, what do I make it about? And is it even possible anymore, considering the giant Peter McKinnon is not getting views like he once was? So I don't know. What's the answer? Is it possible? Can you blow Peter McKinnon out of the water? Is that still, can you still do it with this type of content? Or is it just not possible on YouTube anymore, especially in the long form space where the ad rates are higher? You have to do shorts to get millions of views. And then what do those ad rates look like? They're not great.
They should split their content up. They should be doing shorts. They should be doing long form. You had to just give them like 30 seconds of advice.
Everyone thought vlogs were dead, and Casey, and then you, and then Ryan Trey, and like it's almost like any creative career gets.
Yeah, but vlogs are dead, seemingly. Tell me I'm wrong. Show me, point me to the spot. Did everyone get sick of Peter McKinnon? Did everyone get sick of Casey Neistat? Both of them kind of like quit a couple times throughout the past few years, but over the past 5 years, let's say, took breaks, paused. are there still giant vloggers or what's going on?
Continually reinvent it. It's really hard to be a musician for decades. It's really hard to be an actor for decades. People who succeed continually reinvent themselves. There's always new people, like new interesting artists, new interesting actors coming on. And I think it's the same on YouTube. Pick something you're passionate about, because you're going to have to make content. And if you don't care enough to about the subject, you'll get burned out or you will run out of ideas really quick. So be super passionate and then experiment. Make 10 shorts, make 10 videos, and then see how the audience is reacting to them. And maybe you try 3 different topics at first because you're not sure. But don't be afraid to experiment and try out new things. And then
I'd be very, skeptical of shorts. It's hard to make significant revenue off of them currently.
Start leaning into what's working.
Yeah, dude, this isn't, I don't have to watch this back myself like every morning before I start creating. And then I have his phone number. So lucky for me,
Okay, so there we have some insights from a video from Pete himself saying YouTube isn't the problem, it's you. Well, okay, then Pete, how come you're not getting the views you once were getting, even on stuff that you think the Canon EOS R1 270? Or like, quit YouTube. Oh. The trap of not making videos. What's this most recent one?
In another country. Psych. What's up, everybody? Okay, disclaimer, before you watch this video, there's some context needed. I filmed it 2 months ago in another country, and it was the discovery. It was me figuring out that, man.
We'll come back to that. I'll tell you one thing I noticed. You want to know what the secret is? I have the secret for you right here. Here's the answer. So look at all his recent videos, the latest. Okay. Take a mental snapshot of the latest stuff. Then let's go back to the most popular of all time. The color palette. That's the secret. Blue is the secret. Panasonic blue. It's not Panasonic blue. That's just from CES. That's my bad joke. Blue is the secret to the thumbnails. Or did blue only work 7 years ago? And now you need to do warm tones. I think it's the blue. I think you need to go back to the blue, Pete. There's one blue, work for free. That's the blue one, and it's got too much orange in it. We just need to go all blue. That is the secret. You want to get millions of views? Make your thumbnails all blue. Okay, anyway, let's go back.
And I actually love vlogging. I love making videos, and I want to
It's
do
too
that
warm.
more and prioritize it more. I made
You need
another
to
video
blue
on that. You
blue
saw
it.
it last year.
that sounds weird to say already.
This was kind of the genesis of that idea of me being like in a hotel room thinking, gosh, I actually kind of love this. Just figured I'd share that before we jump back to the sunshine.
Good old country rock. Can't get enough of it.
Jake Paul or Tyson?
Jake Paul.
I think Jake Paul.
So this is
This
just
must be
a
the first
vlog.
time I've coffee
That's what
headache.
it is.
Look at that. That's a win.
Entirely. All right. Quick run with Maddie and Holiday this morning. 7.2 kilometers. It was like a 6-7.
Sure, but that seems just, I mean, like any old Peter McKinnon video. What was this trap?
What's up, everybody? Peter McKinnon here. Welcome back to yet another video. It's good to see you. I love sitting here talking to the camera and connecting and dumping thoughts on no matter what the topic is. I love it. But I was texting a friend some advice, and I thought to myself, man, I should take that advice personally. Like I should take it myself. I don't know if you ever have those moments where you say something and you're like, I don't even know if I do that. I should be doing that too.
Half
And
of my
what I was talking
videos,
about is
I'm talking to
the
myself.
trap of not making videos. So if you're someone that's online and you make content, continue to make content because the trap of not making it just further perpetuates not being able to continue making it, if that makes sense.
Kind
Kind
of.
of just like a muscle needs to be trained. And when you don't train the muscle, it doesn't get any stronger and it's not going to benefit you in any way. The same goes for making videos. So for instance, I feel like the YouTube journey has a bit of like a life cycle to it. It can and it can't. that's confusing, but hopefully this makes sense.
So I will say objects in motion stay in motion. If you start something and you keep doing it, you build the momentum, it is easier to keep doing it. And I assume that's what he's going to get into with this video. I feel like that's the gist of it, but we're going to find out.
2017 Pete would have just hit record on the camera and just kind of figured out where this went. 2024 Pete is a little more like, what's the story here? Or how can I make that into more of a film? Or how can I really deeply think and care about these videos, but sometimes to my own detriment. I overthink something so much that I want to give it more time. I want to write in my notebook. I want to get some ideas. I want to mull it around. I want to run it by a few friends, see what they think. But what that does is it puts a lot of time in between the idea forming and the idea being executed.
That is 100% true. If you have an idea, just do it as fast as possible. Put a little time into it. But gosh, if you have a creative idea, it burns itself out if you wait too long. If you sit on it, if you think about it, you start doubting. You come up with all the reasons not to do the thing. You have a great idea. You say, oh, that's awesome. And then, oh yeah, but I can, or, oh, no one's going to like it, or it's not really that good. You second guess, you doubt, and it ruins it. If you have a good idea, just go.
And the more time between forming and execution just means it's probably not going to happen. So tip number 1, don't let a lot of time pass between ideation and execution, because you're going to be most excited and most willing to execute that idea as soon as possible.
It's good advice.
The more friends I ask, the more opinions I get, the more journal entries I want to write, the more I want to write the idea, the less likely I am to actually film that video. Unless, of course, it's a bigger project and a lot more is going into it and it needs time to get worked by a producer. That's a different story. We're talking right here, just like
you always have to throw every caveat out during your whenever you're making a video talking to you, because you can almost predict the comments that are going to come in live. This happens to me all the time where I'll be talking about something in a video, giving some advice, and then I'm just sitting here thinking, yeah, but this, but this, but this, but this, and these are all the comments I'm going to get to. In real time, you have to react and predict. And you know what's funny is those people don't even get to that part of the video. They don't even watch you exactly calling them out, and they'll still leave their comment saying, yeah, but what about this? And you go, I talked about that in the video, but you jumped to your own conclusion. You didn't even listen to what I was saying. You immediately reacted, left a comment. I'm going to stop. I'm going to try and stop. I can't say I'm going to stop. I probably will always throw in the, yeah, but, or if, all those little disclaimers, but I should really try and stop doing that, because it never hits who it's meant to.
Like making content. Not making content makes it easier to continue not making content. So I, over the last few years, have, like I mentioned in some videos before, and you might see it in some videos in the future, I've prioritized photography, bettering my craft, pursuing photography deeper by shooting film for a year, which helped me learn photography better, became a better photographer, love it even more than I did when I started that project over a year ago. But I had to kind of choose. I couldn't get better at both crafts simultaneously. I had to kind of put one on the back seat to prefer the other one. And I did that with photo. And I've been doing that with photo for the past little while. There were so many different trips I went on and places I went and people I visited that would have made fantastic vlogs. And my thinking and my line of thinking before this was, I just want to capture that with my camera and not be bothered. I don't want to have the nuisance of bringing all the video recording equipment. I just want to shoot pictures. And I did, and I have those, and I was able to make this project, which is this photo book that I'm making right now. And I'm glad I did that. But at the same time, I'm kind of bummed that some of these stories didn't get told, because there were some great stories there, and all I had to do was hit record. So I'm kind of entering the season where I'm wanting to film everything again. But it's very easy to have an idea and think like, what's in my pockets? Oh, people don't care about that anymore. Like nobody wants to see what's in my pockets. And You know, I might think, well, do you love what's in your pockets? Yeah, I love that stuff. So I love EDC. I still love it. Well, then make it. Because if you love it, that'll show through. You will genuinely be interested in the topic that you're discussing, and that'll show through to the audience, and you'll have fun. First and foremost, you'll have fun while you make that video. Meaning that when it's done, even if it's not the best performing thing in the world, because metrics aren't everything, you still had a great time doing it. And that translates. Someone watching that will have a great time watching you have a great time. And that is the compound you want snowballing. So I think it's easy to just dismiss it, not film it. And then the new muscle you're growing is not filming. The new muscle that you're working on is just talking about filming. You're good at coming up with ideas. You're good about talking about what you want to do. You're good at making this big plan, but you're not good at following through. You're not good at execution.
It's super hard to quantify anything like this because the moment you start talking about one thing, you're inherently not talking about something else. And what I mean by that is if you pursue your passion, if you create what you love for you and you alone, that is fuel. That will get you really, really far. But there's a whole other half of that equation of the views, of the revenue that sustains you being able to do what you love, which is also super hard because what good is it to do what you love if you're going broke doing it, going into debt doing it, or you literally can't do it because you just can't afford the plane ticket or you can't afford whatever it is you need to do what you love. It's really hard because and you can't say, but the moment I start saying that, it sounds like you're just doing it for the clicks, you're doing it for the likes, you're doing it for the revenue, and that's also not the case. Like everything in life, it's really complex, it's really nuanced, and you can see that with almost every creator, the ups and downs, the priority for the season into the next season, into the next, it's always changing, it's always evolving because it's hard to quantify all of it in a phrase, in a nutshell. Oh, do what you love. Just do it. Chase your dreams. Yeah, but like also realistically, how do you do that if it's not sustainable? If YouTube isn't closing that loop, actually getting it in front of eyeballs, the people who would be into that content, and maybe that's the case. Maybe there just isn't the audience for this type of content anymore. I doubt it though. I think Peter McKinnon is a great personality. I think he makes great content. I think his ideas are worth listening to, worth sharing. And yet, for some reason, YouTube 5 years ago said this was the hottest stuff ever, and now goes, not so much. Good luck doing what you love. And that's really challenging. That's really frustrating as a filmmaker, as a videographer, as a content creator, as a vlogger, as a YouTuber, whatever you call yourself. To do what you love, put it out there like you always have. Because I think Pete's always loved what he's done. I don't think that's ever really changed. Maybe in hindsight, he might have different thoughts on it and look back and go, oh, yeah, well, I did that one for the views. No, but you didn't. You did it all because you enjoyed it at the time. But then what's the difference? It's YouTube that's changed. The audience changes, people change. Yes, people grow older, they mature. Everything's in flux. It's all changing. It's all shifting. But YouTube hasn't been, it's not like YouTube is still the same platform it was 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 9 years ago. It's changing a lot too. And it's very hard to make quality content when it's not rewarded. And I think that's a really, really hard pill to swallow for most content creators or anyone looking to make videos and putting it out for public consumption. You want people to like it, but you got to get them to click it. You got to get them to engage. You got to reach them. You can't spend all your money on one video because if you do and it only gets 10 views, you've immediately extinguished all your resources for that one video. But you also can't phone it in and be lazy and cheap and all that stuff because you'll be ripped to shreds in the comments, in the, over on Reddit, in the critiques, tear you apart, saying how bad you are and how terrible you are. And so you're sitting there going like, okay, well, what's the right amount to invest? When it used to be possible to get the millions of views in certain categories, right? People are still getting millions of views. We're talking about Peter McKinnon here, and maybe like I said, I picked him because he's kind of like the king of the hill. If there's someone bigger in the photography, filmmaking space, point him out. Let me know. Who's the new Peter McKinnon? But when you're king of the hill and your views are dipping, you're going, well, but like you're still making good content. And yes, you've changed a little bit, maybe. But also, I don't know. Are just people just not watching that stuff? I don't know. Let me know. What are your thoughts? It's hard.
You're not good at actually making the thing that's in your head. You're just good at all the other things. But the two need each other. But it's very easy to get disconnected from one another. This video is brought to you by Squarespace, an all-in-one platform where you can make a website.
Skip to the spike. We've got a spike here.
McKinnon, hit that line before the end of the day.
Yes, everyone knows about Squarespace.
One of the biggest lessons I've learned over basically over the entire YouTube career is the more time lapse between ideation and execution means you're more likely not to do the thing and to choose what you want to prioritize. It's hard to be good at everything. So I think like
So prioritize and execute immediately. Decently good advice. But it's almost kind of contradictory. He said that he wishes he had captured those moments. I don't know. An object in motion stays in motion. You want to keep doing something, whether it's creating or working out or I don't know, whatever you're passionate about, just start doing it, do a little bit of it, and you'll end up doing more. Cleaning is the exact same way. The moment you start vacuuming, the moment you start sweeping, the moment you start wiping something down, you just continue to keep doing it. An object in motion stays in motion. So you want to shoot photos? Start shooting photos. You want to make videos? Start making videos. It is good advice. Let's see about working for free. What's this about?
All right, I'd like to start off by addressing the elephant in the room, which is the room itself. Yes, that angle has been changed again. I know. I agree. We're on the same page here. You don't even have to say it. You don't even have to say it. I'm reading you. Okay? Yeah, you. Stop smiling. Stop. Now you're laughing. Stop it. Straight face. You still can't. I know. But it looks better. Don't even try. It looks, comment below. It looks better. I'm sorry, Maddie. I had to just. What's up, everybody? Peter McKinnon here. Welcome back to.
I think it's the blue. You need the blue. I'm tearing down the brick.
Yeah, it's another video, and today we're talking about why I think you should work for free at times. Not all the time, but
working for free. I've talked about this.
There's definitely a conversation to be had here, and I feel like over the years, it's all over the place. Different people have different schools of thought. Obviously, I agree with some on both sides, but I have some interesting insight and some recent developments that have happened to me since I shot Kiefer Sutherland's portrait that I wanted to share, and I wanted to share how I'm going to go about those and how I'm going to handle this situation moving forward. This is going to be the star of the show today. This is not sponsored by Red Bank. I've never even had this. Never even heard of this brand before. Apparently, Kiefer Sutherland has his own whiskey. What celebrity doesn't have an alcohol these days? It's shocker. Anyways, this is from Nova Scotia. I was sent a bottle of this as a thank you for taking those pictures. So this is special, and I figured I would share it with some special people. But I wanted to go a step ahead. I do love product photography. I love hanging with the boys, and I love some whiskey. Follow me.
Come on, let's go. This is about working for free. Okay. Come on, what do we got?
First, in order for that to then be worth something. So I don't think you can just come out of the gate and get money for what you do. Like no one's coming to your door, no one's coming to your studio and offering you gigs just because you decided you're a
I just said that. Man,
photographer. I think you need to earn that. I think that comes with time, and I think that your skill grows with time. So, for example, I shot those photos of Kiefer Sutherland. I didn't get paid for that. It wasn't a paid photo shoot. It wasn't anything that he asked for. It was just kind of right time, right place. However, the next day, I received an email from his best friend who owns this company with Kiefer, Red Bank Whiskey. And he was like, can we use these photos? What would you charge? And my immediate response was nothing. I already got what I wanted. I got the portrait of Kiefer Sutherland. I am happy. By all means, it would make me even more happy for you to also benefit and portfolio or a place for people to find you. The time is now. Link is in description. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of these photos. The light was absolutely perfect. In the winter, I find is some of the best light you will.
Yeah, so it's always like one project can lead to another, can lead to another. Like there's a networking effect. Yes. Good advice. Good advice indeed. Follow it. Work. I don't know. He didn't say it. Maybe he said it somewhere in that video, but my advice when it comes to working for free, if you're going to work for free, work for yourself for free. Don't work for other people for free. So it sounds like he sort of did that. Maybe didn't spell it out, but I want to go check some of these older videos because this is where it's frustrating as a content creator. Someone who's putting videos out there, right? The number one biggest video on Peter McKinnon's channel is this filmmaker reacts to crazy Hollywood camera technique. That's the most YouTube-y. It's basic, right? We all kind of know. We all kind of cringe at it. We kind of go like, oh. But look how it performed. Look how 10 million views. Number one video is the most basic. If you make that video, everyone will hate you. The comments will eat you alive. Oh, cringe. And yet 10 million people will watch it and sustain that type of content. It's so baffling to watch the top content on YouTube perform crazy giant numbers, but the moment you go and make that type of content, everyone tears you apart. Ugh, gross, cringe. Ugh. So what do? You go make what Pete's been making, which is more like artsy, introspective, thoughtful. Hey, I'm going to share my advice. Hey, check out this cool photo shoot I did. Watch this vlog. 100,000 views, 200,000 views. He's passionate about it. He loves it. But what's the plan for any other creator if you tell them, okay, here's how you do it. You either chase your passion, you do what you love, you do what's cool and what people like and is good, but there's no money or revenue to sustain the thing, or you go do the thing, the crazy clickbait, the crazy outrage, the crazy basic cringe, whatever video. And that supports it, but everyone will hate you. What kind of awful world is that? It's terrible. How come platforms like Netflix, quality can bubble to the top? Not always, but generally, the stuff that people are watching, the stuff that gets recommended is usually the stuff that's, vetted. The algorithm on YouTube doesn't prioritize quality. It doesn't prioritize effort. It doesn't even prioritize what's good necessarily. What does it prioritize? It's a black box. It's a mystery. People say engagement. People will say retention. People will say click-through rates, blah, blah, blah. I don't, it depends. It really does. But when you look at the stuff that performs the best, even on Pete's channel, his second video, 8 camera hacks in 90 seconds. And it's him holding a knife up to a lens. Is that the hack? I must have watched this video years ago. I paid Photoshop experts to edit this photo, editing your photos, After Effects basics, 10 Lightroom tips, night photography, camera basics, take better shots with your iPhone. Let's see. Let's go watch an oldie but a goodie. Let's just check out. I don't want like a tips video. I want something that matches what he's currently doing. Let's see. Maybe something like these are all like tippy night photography, maybe. Slow motion.
I've been a lot of places and
VO.
taken a lot of photos, but one thing that I've never enjoyed, particularly within this craft, is nighttime photography. Something I've struggled with, I'll be honest with that, and it's just never really interested me. Everything is different. The rules are completely different at night, and it's a whole different ballgame. And if you're not comfortable with your camera, it's something that can be intimidating for a lot of people. For me, photography sort of just ends when the sun goes down, but I'm trying to change that. I think it's time for a tutorial. Yeah, that sounds about right. I could get into that. Maybe something like how to shoot photos at night. Ooh, that's a good one. Let's do that. Let's do how to shoot photos at night.
I mean, it's more or less the same that he's still making.
What's up, everybody? Peter McKinnon here, and today we're talking about how to shoot photos at night. And no,
He sits here and stares at the camera. He talks.
it's not
waves
as
his hands
scary
around.
as you think it is. Now, you see, for a lot of photographers, and myself included, this is something that I struggle with. The second the sun goes down and it's nighttime, photography ends for me. That's it. As far as anything goes with regards to...
Is it the difference of the stuff he's creating now is more reflective, more introspective, talking about his own struggles, his own feelings, what his challenges are, and how he's overcoming them. And maybe those challenges aren't as relatable as some of the beginner photography challenges of like shooting at night. Hey, that's difficult. That's a hard thing to overcome. Hey, don't worry. I'm Peter McKinnon. I'm here to share with you how to shoot at night. Is that the difference? Is it the perspective? Is he aging like a whiskey that he enjoys to the point where who he's talking to is more or less himself, although it is relatable, although it is true. Everything, like I said, it's a trap. It's true, but maybe it's not as tangible to somebody who's new and just getting into it and dealing with like, how do I get my settings right? How do I shoot at night? How do I deal with flash photography? How do I edit a video? There's probably just less people at, you're king of the hill. You've climbed the mountain. You're at the top and you look around and who's there? The audience is smaller versus starting off up the hill. I don't know. That's just a theory. That's just a gut reaction to watching this content. Cause I think the last time I watched Peter McKinnon was probably 6 years ago, something like that. Let's see what else we got. Old school, not the React. We know what that's about. We know the hacks. Night photography, that was a good one. Camera basics, entry level, $1,000 camera versus $8,000 camera. Beginner photography mistakes, 5 ways to instantly make better videos. I think we're onto something. I think the theory evolves. The bucket shot, yes. Let's check out the bucket shot. Slow motion with music intro
in the
with a
bottle rockets
voiceover
that we just smuggled across the border and wanting to light those off than do photography.
I'm going to
Skateboarding, BMX biking, that kind of stuff. Those are my hobbies. It was never anything remotely to do with the arts. It's kind of funny. Here I am, this whole film about chasing my dream shot, my bucket list shot. It's funny how life works out like that.
Peter McKinnon's Canadian, right? Is this Canadian music or is this like American South music? That's probably a little too simplistic, but it's just funny to me. Are there a bunch of Canadians doing Southern rock? It's Northern rock at that point.
I was a drummer. I grew up in like a punk rock scene. I was kind of my
Punk rock? This is not punk rock.
thing. I always had a little bit of an interest with video cameras. My dad had cameras growing up.
And he would be forever videoing
Monty.
us in unsuspecting moments and catching us
I've never watched this.
off guard.
Filming home videos and skateboard videos. We would just jump into bushes and ride our bikes off ridiculous ramps.
With he and his friends, and they would be on a pipe of some kind.
It was just like a weird but fun childhood, but just had nothing to do with this.
All right, I'm skipping ahead.
It's been a dream of mine to October. There's a lot, and they closed down that like this. Okay, so it's raining a little bit right now. The fog came back. Snow where there's not. Due to the amount of people all waiting to get the same frame. We just decided to go down to the water's edge, just scale down the bottom.
Telling the story of taking a shot. Cool. Cool video. Sure. Great. Let's see what else we got. Oldies but goodies. After Effects basics. Sleeping in a -10C hotel made entirely of ice.
You're probably wondering how I got here, so let me explain.
Slow motion with music. Start it. Is that the secret? No.
All right, how do you feel? We got no mic on this, but I'm pretty cold right now.
I can't feel my fingers.
I can't feel.
That's vlog time.
I can't feel
See?
anything. We are in the middle of
Just random out and about vlogging, telling stories. Great. Awesome. The content hasn't changed. I'm telling you. It's the thumbnails. All the old ones were blue. Just having blue thumbnails. How to film yourself, how to fake slow motion with any camera, how to make stuff float in your photos, what's inside. Okay. Well, I don't know if we've learned anything. I don't know if we're any wiser. I don't know if we're any smarter. I am reading the chat, by the way. I'm popping over here. Carl says that he started to sell out with too many sponsor videos. Audience recognized that and dipped. I still think you should be able to do sponsored videos and get millions of views. I don't think it can be just that. Maybe that's a part of it. Maybe it's a factor, a part of the complexity. Kadeem asks, is there a video you can reference of yours about you talking about working for free? Yeah, I think if you search work for free on my channel, you will find it. And basically my advice is if you're going to work for free, it should be for yourself, not for somebody else, not for exposure, not for anything like that. Don't, if you have time and no one's paying you to do something, invest that time back into yourself. Giovanni Hernandez. I would imagine it's a smaller audience as well, since he was speaking to beginners and had a mentorly role that changed as he stopped teaching as much on the channel. So I think that is a big factor. And so maybe my advice to anyone new who's wants to adventure down this rabbit hole, maybe you fancy yourself the next Peter McKinnon. And no one's told me if there's a new Peter McKinnon. From my understanding, he's still king of the hill. But maybe you, maybe me, maybe it's good advice for me. Talk to beginners, talk to people just starting off. I think being helpful, being inspirational, tackling those early beginner problems, that audience will probably always be there because there's always somebody. What just popped up? I saw it. It was on Reddit, I think. Someone asked, what are all these blue lines on my screen? And they shared a picture of their camera, and it was peaking, focus peaking. They had hit a button on a Lumix camera that turned on focus peaking. It made it all speckly and blue lines everywhere. Those are beginner problems, and they're very easy to take for granted, to not even think about once you get to a certain point in your career and your profession and your skill set, where you just go, you don't know what peaking is. You don't know what focus peaking is. But that is a thing. There's people always picking up a camera for the first time, just getting into it, wondering, how do I do X, Y, or Z and overcome the challenge that they're facing? I wonder if Peter McKinnon cares, or if he doesn't need to care anymore. I think it's talk to beginners and have your thumbnails be blue, and that's the recipe for success. Of course, it's not that easy. Maybe it helps, but it's never that easy. It is very frustrating to see what does the best on YouTube and go, really? Because if you go make it, it's going to be a lot of hate. It's going to be a lot of negativity, but you also kind of have to have some tough skin and just maybe not care. Just push through it. Say, I don't care. DGAF, as they used to say. I don't think they say that anymore. Maybe that's the other element, the other secret. But I do think across the board, it's not just Peter McKinnon. It's YouTube in general. It's a harder place to thrive in the long form space because of shorts. Maybe that's an excuse. Maybe that's not true. Maybe that's fake news. But I also, if I had to bet, I'd say it's probably the case. There's just more and more people watching shorts. People only have so much time in the day. Their attention spans are limited. If they start down the rabbit hole of shorts and that sucks up all their time, they're not going to have time left over to watch long form artsy fartsy films and vlogs. They're just not going to, because the dopamine isn't as strong as it is scrolling through shorts, as scrolling through TikTok, as scrolling through Instagram Reels, where it's the moment you're bored, you just swipe to the next thing and it's brand new. It's completely refreshed. That experience cannot exist in a long form video. It can't exist in a TV show or a movie, because the algorithms are so good that the moment you swipe to the next short, it's a perfectly custom tailored video for you that's perfectly engaged to engage with you. You can't edit that for a mass audience. You can't craft a long form video into constant dopamine hits that are custom tailored to the viewer of that video. It's just not the way. And that's why shorts and reels and it's so powerful, so addictive, and so dangerous, because it's perfectly curated for exactly what that person wants to see next the moment they're bored. The moment they swipe, they get a brand new thing that re-engages, gives them a new burst of dopamine, and says, keep on watching, keep on watching. Here's the new thing you're going to love. Here's the new thing you're going to love. You're not going to hate this. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Over. How could you craft a 15-minute video on YouTube that hits those same points? You can't. The algorithms, the shorts, the feeds, the TikToks, the reels, they're too good. They're too good at giving you what you want to see. And so the long form stuff, even if you put blue in your thumbnails, even if you talk to beginners, even if it's the best video ever, I don't know. There's the age of YouTube where Peter McKinnon was on top is over. Like back then, 5 years ago, we didn't have shorts. It wasn't a thing. It was, you got the dopamine from the vlogs, from the living vicariously through your favorite creator and watching them live life and do fun, adventurous things. Wow, that looks so cool. That must be so amazing. And now the value of that content is diminished because the power of shorts is so much stronger. And not any one short, not any one channel, not any one creator, but in aggregate as the whole platform. Because there's a huge difference between clicking on a video and choosing to watch something versus rolling the dice when you swipe and you don't know what you're getting next. You have no idea. You didn't even have to make a decision. You just swipe and there's something there on demand instantaneously that's perfect for you and what you want to see. That's a highly competitive market to try and stand out in. So I said at the beginning of this stream, and I'll say it again, YouTube kind of broke itself with shorts. It at least broke traditional YouTube. Peter McKinnon is still Peter McKinnon. He's more or less doing the same stuff. He might be talking to a smaller audience, a more matured, refined audience, if he's not talking to a beginner. But he's still doing more or less the same thing he's always done. But YouTube has changed drastically in a way that's a problem to be solved. It's hard to navigate what to do in that whole equation. That's how I like to look at things, as ingredients in a recipe or as like an equation. How do you solve for X, Y, or Z? What is the answer? And it's not, I don't have it right now, but I do know that YouTube is quite a different place than it once was. And it'd be very, very challenging. Again, even taking into consideration some of the best practices we came up with while doing this analysis of Peter McKinnon's channel. Blue in the thumbnails, try it out. Maybe I'll try it out. Talk to beginners. Okay, fair enough. But is that enough secret sauce to get you over the mountain that is shorts and the algorithm and on-demand instant gratification, dopamine, nonstop? challenging for sure, and fun to talk about. At least I think so. Wrapping up with the chat here, and then I'm going to end it. Let's see. The trip is over till the next. The Red Bull Eclipse is hard to make happen until you can. Gets harder to top your highlights, more pressure, more help, more money. Huge gamble. So what's interesting about that, the Red Bull Eclipse, that video doesn't have hardly, not even nearly 1 million views. It's right here. The Bucket Shot 2, 381,000 views. So it's not even like a big magnum opus style video from Pete is even really scratching the surface of what used to be possible. It's just not, it just doesn't work the same way anymore. Let's see, Giovanni. I think the metrics would probably show that the educational content is still doing numbers compared to other content. I believe that. And I believe that, yes, a wider net to more educational, information-driven audiences who want to learn, who want to grow. And I think that's a smart approach if you want to make content. But I don't think it's the only factor at play for Pete or for anyone else. And Giovanni's got one more. Evergreen for long form and dopamine hits for short form. I think that's a very valid approach as a general rule. Yes. But even SEO is changing. So even if you make an evergreen piece that's helpful and educational, and you put a lot of effort into it, you make a great video that teaches and informs, educates, all those things, perfectly suited for SEO. Here comes AI just to answer the question on demand anyway, without maybe the AI was trained on your video, but who cares? You don't get credit for that. The AI is just going to answer the question. If you Google anything now, AI just gives you the answer. I've turned to ChatGPT for a lot of questions I've had just because I don't want to sift through, 10 links of garbage on Google results. Like Google's kind of broken as well. Funny enough, that's like a whole other stream, a whole other video. So YouTube is kind of broke itself, but Google also has broken itself and is now trying to fix it with these AI answers. But there's always that doubt or hesitation when AI tells you something, you go like, but can I trust that? Is that actually true? Or is this just made up? And a lot of times it's right. Like 99.9% of the time, the AI answer is right. But you still trust it 50-50, going like, I don't know. I don't know about that one. But that'll be more and more of the problem. You could make the best evergreen video answering any question, being as educational as possible. And for the mass market, the majority of people will never see it because AI will cut in line in front of you every time and kind of beat you to the punch, so to speak. So it's tricky. It's tricky. Obviously, podcasting has become a big thing since the vlogging days. That was I want to say, of the eras of YouTube and content, podcasting has come into the forefront probably, but even that market seems heavily saturated. What's next? Who knows? No one knows for sure. It is good advice that Pete said, do what you love, find your passion, create for your own purpose, regardless of how it performs. 100% true. I'll stand by that. But most people also need it to be sustainable as well. It has to make what it costs in order to justify keeping it going. So it's always an equation to balance, solving for the missing factor. But interesting. I think it's interesting anyway to try and run these kind of analyses and figure out like, okay, so what's going on? Maybe huge waste of time. I don't know, but I haven't done a live stream in a while and I wanted to bring it back again. Pete's advice is spot on. What do you call it? The trap of not making videos. The trap, not that one. The trap of not making videos. You stop, and then that's kind of how you stay. But yeah, my advice: object in motion stays in motion. So I figured I should take my own advice, and since I haven't done a live stream in a long, long time, it's like, yeah, I'll push that button, and we'll see how it goes. He's already made it was a mistake. You got to slow motion. Pete, you set the formula. You need the music and the slow motion and a voiceover at the beginning.
fresh and clean. I spent the whole day yesterday getting things dialed.
No. This is all wrong. This is all wrong.
Getting things cleaned up so I could go into 2025 with a fresh perspective, a fresh office. Everything's clean and ready to go. Well, that's an important way for me to get things going so that I can.
Sorry, are you still using this?
I was gonna actually ask you, what do you think of my shot? It looks great everywhere. I feel the space feels good.
It's fine. Like the light is, it's a bit 2018.
Really?
You've moved on to the little LED light mat thing. I get that.
Yeah. It's thinner than the dome, so it doesn't block my art on the wall.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought you would have maybe stepped it up. It's been.
See, I like this. I would, out of all the videos I've watched, the one I'm ending with is the one I would actually want to watch.
Like what, 6 years?
But only 142,000 views. Again, it's talking to an aging crowd. We need to say this is like for a beginner.
I mean, I'm open to stepping it up. What would that include? What would that entail? They are legitimately very heavy. I've got 3 brand new lights in my truck, actually.
Don't tell me it's like the new 1200. Or...
Yeah. They've been in my truck bed for 3 months now. It's just too heavy. I can't.
Oh no, is this what we said of too much product placement? Where is that? He started to sell out too many sponsor videos. Carl said it. Maybe I have to agree. A little bit. I'm old too. We're all old.